Gonna work on opening the pool today. So first thing we gotta do is get this little bit of water from rain that's recently come through. It's actually more than it looks like. So we gotta try to get it off. I don't have a pump, so shop vac or something. So gotta be working on that. So, I was going to time-lapse record us taking this cover off, but I'm glad that I didn't because it turned out to be this big, huge ordeal. We had about a half a foot of water on top of the pool. Even though I drained it before I went out of town, we had half a foot of water on top of the cover. Water. That's southern water. Water on top of the cover. And we pulled it all the way over to over there, and we had this big, huge bladder that probably went from like right there to right there. And we were not getting that up and over without possibly ripping the cover and just dumping all that dirty water back down into the pool. I didn't want to do that. So our neighbors who live next door graciously let us borrow a submersible pump. So we put it down in there and stood and talked to them while it just kind of, the bladder got smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where we could pull it up and over. So that was the third year on that cover. It was starting to get a little frayed, so we decided to throw it away. So this is what we are starting with. So I've got the hose over there in trying to raise the water level. It needs to be about another inch higher. If I turn it on now, it's just gonna suck air. It needs to be up to about that next screw. About the screw that's kind of in the middle there. It needs to be up to there. And then I'll work on getting all the filtering and stuff back in the hose, in the hoses and in the pump, and plug up the sand because it's basically still in winterized mode where it's all locked down. And the steps are in winterized mode where they're detached and they're just kind of laying on the bottom. I'll have to get in and flip those up. This water is still very chilly. It'll start warming up now that we've got the cover off of it. But now that I've got the cover off of it, I've got to start to get it moving. It's got a little sediment on the bottom, but it is not green. It is beautiful. And we'll get that vacuumed up. So yeah, so we're at this point. So I'm going to show how we unwinterize the pool. Goldie, you about ready for the pool? You about ready for pool, Goldie? Where's Dixon at? Y'all say, and y'all never get to see my doggies. Dixon, they're afraid of cameras for some reason. I don't know why. Dixon, there's the doggies. Hey, Goldie. Goldie, ready for the pool? Dixon, ready for the pool? All right. Okay, so when you're going to go to open your pool, I may not have everything that I have, but I have a, I don't know what it is. It's a Pentair, 1 horsepower, total horsepower, 0.5. I don't know what those other numbers mean. THP, WF, it's a Pentair. And I didn't take this in this past winter, and it looks like I probably should have. I don't know how this seal's going to hold up. If I end up having to get a new one of these, I may do it. But I noticed about halfway through the winter that I did not take this hose off, and I usually do. And before people say anything, I know that I've got mine hard in and I don't have anything flexible. Like some people put a flexible thing here. I do have a disconnect there, and I've got a disconnect there. But I didn't put anything flexible. Some put it here, some put it here. Some people put it here, and I have people even say, oh, you used the wrong kind of PVC. You didn't use PVC. You didn't you used this. I think I used the stuff that you actually usually drain water through rather than push water through. So I know I know, before you come at me in the comments, I know. If you're a pool people, probably watching this video, I know. So I've got the water filled back up to right about the water line, maybe a little above that I usually do, right there. And we're supposed to get some more rain this week, so that'll probably fill up even more, which I'm fine with, because you know that you have to vacuum to waste. When you go to clean the little stuff off the bottom, I do have a little bit of sediment. That's just dead algae and dirt and skin and stuff like that that was in there from the last year. I got it as good as I could, but you're still going to have stuff like that because there's going to be leaves you can't get, and some stuff's just going to settle after, 6 months or whatever. So you have the skimmer. For those who don't know, skimmer comes in, and right now this is opened up because it's drained. I will close that. Once the water gets in it, I'll close it. There's also a plug down there that you can see. When I open that up, water's going to come down through here, and it's going to begin to prime the pump, fill the pump up. Water's also going to come from the jet that blows back into the pool. It's going to come here, and it's going to come and help fill the tank up. I've got it in winter mode. Got it in winterized mode, which basically what winterized mode does, it just keeps the seal setting up on itself. The breaker is turned off. Breaker comes over here, it's turned off. And this is the waste. Probably just, this is a Pentair high rate sand filter. I don't know if that, probably have to blur that. But anyway, so there's things you take out. There's things that you do when you're closing. You take out a plug down here, and you let that drain. You take out a pressure meter here. There's a plug here that comes out. You plug here. You plug that. You plug down in there. You close these off if you can, if you have them there. There's a plug that you take out there. And then down here, there's a skimmer basket you take out. Take your skimmer basket out of here. Those two are right here. I keep my stuff together under the house. And then down here on the pump, there's some drains. There is one down there, one back here. Fat boy breathing again. Whew. And one there on the side. So you just start putting this stuff back in. So first things first, gonna close this off. All right, that's good. And if I'm doing anything the way you don't do it, you can come at me if you want. I know a lot of people put tape on this. I'll put tape on it if it leaks. A lot of people, I don't really go by this pumping. I don't go by this pressure valve anyway. Most of them stink. They're not that good. What I generally go by is what the flow is coming out of here. Because when this gets to where it is not hardly flowing any water out, I know I need to backwash. So, but I don't really pay attention to that. Let's see what else we got here. Why are you not putting lube on your valves? Why are you not putting lube on your gaskets? Listen, I just don't, okay? This goes here. very curious to see if that's going to leak. All right, got that closed off. And this is your bubble here. This is where you see when you're backwashing or when you're backwashing. And this does have a little thing, goes up in there. This is when you're backwashing or when you're rinsing. You look at what this looks like. We've been having some really hot days, but then it does what it always does in the South. It decided to cool off a little bit. All right, so this is the inlet jet. That's 2 pieces, 3 pieces actually. This is what you use to screw that out and screw in and out your inlet jet. Outlet jet, inlet, whatever you want to call it. And then here are the 3, they're identical, the 3 plugs for the pump. So I'll try to show you. I've been putting water back in the pool. So one goes here into your skimmer filter basket. The other one goes under here. It's gonna be hard to show you this and do it. So that one's in now, right there. And then the next one goes right here. Once again, you're probably like, oh, why don't you take your pump in? I probably could have put it under my house where all the pool stuff goes, out of the elements, because it does come off. There's a couple screws there that you unloosen, and I'd take this hose loose. I don't remember why I didn't like fully close up the way I usually do, because you'd unplug it from here, unhook that coupling right there, screw that out, because that whole piece, once you get that coupling loose, that whole piece will screw out. And then I have a ball that I put under here. It's somewhere right there. It kind of wedges in here and kind of holds that to where it's not just hanging. Works for me. But I don't know why I didn't close it the right way this year. I don't know why. I think I might have been rushed, or I've been getting ready to go out of town or something. I don't remember. But anyway, so next thing, fat boy breathing again. Next thing, this comes off. It just twists off like that. It's got a ring under there that I probably will come back and grease. And if any of these rings leak, I'll come back and grease them. But this goes in a certain way, like that. It lines up with the intake hole. And this goes back on. And you lock it down, just like that. All right, and then we pull this out. What this is, it's a soft drink bottle with sand in it, and if the water freezes, it will squeeze this and collapse it rather than crack my skimmer. And the pole place did that for me, so I'm gonna put this. Whew, that water is chilly. I am not looking forward into getting in and have to fix those steps, because I do have to. Now listen, whenever I do this, when I pull this off, I think I need to. Now this is gonna start filling. So yeah, so we'll see if we've got any leaks. So nothing's there so far. So that will start priming the pump. Now that's all that's gonna do is prime the pump, because I don't think it's gonna push it up this far. It might push the water up through here and down into the tank. I know that This definitely will. And what I'll do is before I start it up, to make sure that my tank is full of water and my pump is primed, I won't start the pool filter up until I hear sounds like no water's running. So far, no leaks. So what I have to do, I won't be able to film this, but basically what I'm going to do, I could probably film a little bit of it, is get this out without dropping anything. Goodness. So I cannot get this piece out. This may be a piece that I have to get out whenever I actually have to get into the pool to undo the steps. I really need to get this out though, because I'd like to go ahead and start circulating water. You can hear that the water is running up and running into here. What we're going to do is we're going to change this to filter. So now with it on filter, that is going to run down. I'm feeling water and air. You hear that? That's air escaping. That's air escaping from inside the thing. So when air starts coming out of that, and water starts coming out of that, we can screw that down and it'll stop. See, it's full. So now we should be able to All right, so to get it loose, I had to use a little bit of leverage. And once I used some leverage just to break it loose, I was able to use the tool to get it off. And now, this piece goes over here, it comes off. This goes here, it comes off. This is the eyelet. It goes down in there, and then this piece here will go down in there into those grooves and screw it in. Actually, I think this water would actually not feel too bad on a really hot day. So I'm down in there. I'm just going to turn it until it locks, kind of locks in. And then the eyelet go in. And then what I generally do is I set my eyelet to kind of go down and point counterclockwise like that. So that part's done. Also, I want to mention earlier, I talked about that I had this on winter, which was just having the water come up from here and go straight out to waste. It does the same thing on on rinse. It still allows it to come up, it still fills this up, but it still goes to waste. So if you want it truly filling in your pump or filling in your filter, then you need to have it on filter, and you need to have this open to where it lets air out, and you know it's full whenever you do this and water comes out. Also, the eyelet is kind of halfway full. That's no big deal. So this one's open, this one's open. So we should be okay to do a test, because I don't hear any water running. That's full down there. We will put skimmer basket in. I'm ordering a new one because I broke the handle on this one. Got a new one on order along with my robot. probably take this hose out at this point, because with all the rain I'm going to be getting, I don't think I'm going to need to add any more water. So I'll put this in here, and then what I do, keep my stuff together, I put the stuff that we took off to winter, or to unwinter, to open. Okay, I'll leave that off for now. I'll set this over to the side. Turn on the breaker here. Here's pool pump, and then I went ahead and had them run me some, what is it, 240 or whatever for a spa, because I may eventually put a deck here and put a spa. But so leave that off. I should be able to come down here and flip a switch right here. So water's coming in. Water's going through. And check for leaks. We do have a leak. And the leak is coming from here. See that? We have a real small leak right there, it looks like. And it looks like it's coming from under the thing here. Yeah, see how it's stacking up on my finger? Can't see a leak anywhere else. Here, going to the filter, there's not a leak up here. That's just from where I was cleaning it earlier. And then let's see if we have water coming out. Oh yeah, good strong water coming out. You see the water churning. So we're filtering, but we're also leaking. So we need to figure out what is that. So basically what I'm gonna do, turn the pump off, turn this, which blocks the water from coming that way. Turn this, which blocks the water from coming that way. And I'm going to see what I need to do about this hose. If I need to take it off, tighten it down, or whatever. All right, so I determined that it was, in fact, leaking from under here. So I got my channel locks and tightened it up a little bit. Not too tight, but I was actually able to tighten it some with my bare hand. Okay, a little bit more. It's also leaking a little from this one under here, which I wasn't sure I got tight enough. It's leaking from the little on the one on the front. So I can hear you now. Grease, which I probably will pick some up. I don't have any. I need to pick some up and add it. That's something you can always add. All I have to do is close these two valves and add it. But I'm probably gonna let this sit, let this all dry up, and come out here in a little bit and see if I still have any. I don't visibly see anything leaking right now. But I can't tell because everything's wet. I don't know if something's seeping or whatever. So if I come back out here, like say tomorrow, should be dry, bone dry. So if there's any moisture out here, then I know I still have a leak somewhere. And I am going to turn these back on because these not being on stopped water flow, water pressure. So that's all for today. I'll check it tomorrow. So this is a day later, and I went ahead and turned the pump back on because if it was dripping, I wanted to see it. It wasn't going to be spewing anything. So, and it's bone dry. Got everything tightened up. Under there. Spot right there. And I think it's coming from here. And I think it was also coming from here where I didn't have this on as tight as it could be. But anywhere there could be a leak, there's not. So I've got it running on filter. It's already starting to catch some things in the skimmer basket. Not a whole lot floating on the top. I've got a robot ordered. It's going to be here probably Thursday. It's supposed to rain all this week. It's supposed to get like 2 inches of rain, which will, honestly, this skimmer will probably be overflowing. If I'd known we was going to get that much rain, I wouldn't have filled it up this much. It's at the normal water line. You can see there, that's just residual. It's like suntan lotion and stuff like that. I haven't cleaned inside here yet. I usually take a magic eraser. Sometimes I keep a magic eraser floating in here, and I usually put a what they call a skimmer sock. It catches all the little fine stuff. Not done all that yet, but yeah, it'll probably, what happens if it gets too high, it'll basically just come up and it'll run out the top of the skimmer, which I just let it do. I might take a water sample by the pool place on Tuesday and just see what they want me to do, if they want me to take any action. But I would like to see where my water levels are, like for calcium and pH and things like that. Water's still clear. You can see all the way down to the bottom. I'm blessed for that because sometimes people uncover their pool and they're either green or they are cloudy. Now sometimes you start out a bunch of chemicals, it's going to get cloudy too. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But so yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a part 2 to that for this, or if that's going to be in this video yet. I don't quite know. This video is supposed to come out on June the 6th, so it's currently like May 25th. So I've got some time to add things to it. This is where we are for now. The good thing is the pump's up and running, circulating water, and there are no leaks as of right now. So, more later. So, up to this point, it's been a few days, honestly, because when I left off, I had just rebuilt everything over there, made it the way it needs to be, and to get it running. Then I let the water run for about 24 to 48 hours. Did what everybody should do, took a sample to the pool place, because even though my water was clear, I know it's not balanced. There's things that have to be balanced. Alkalinity has to be balanced. That helps your chlorine be more effective. pH has to be right. Phosphates, which is what algae eats, has to be under 100. You can look up what ranges needs to be. So you want your pH to be a certain thing, your alkalinity to be a certain thing, your phosphates to be low. And and your calcium. So your calcium is what helps your vinyl liner not rot, and it's good for other things too. You can Google all this stuff. It's not rocket science. There's enough people out there that are way smarter than me. That's why I go to my pool place. So I took them. They said phosphates too low, too high. My phosphates was over 1,000. So I had to put the phosphates killer in it, take a water sample back. A couple days later, they said it's good. So then I use a method pool called Easy Pool. And the first thing that you do is you turn the pump off. You spray this stuff all over the top. It's called Revive. And it helps set your chemicals. It also acts as a flocculant, which makes everything impure drop to the bottom of the pool while the pool's turned off. Then you overfill your pool at that time. You want it to be as full, like as full as you can get it to the top of your skimmer over there. And whenever you want to do that before, whenever you put that in, and after you wait 48 hours, you then vacuum to waste. And vacuum to waste means it doesn't go back through the filter or anything. It goes straight out. You see mine that goes off and goes into the ground there. That's my waste right there. Comes off, goes down, goes out to a thing under the ground. So that one there is coming from the skimmer, going through another little filter, going through the pump, going into the top of the sand filter, going down, and then it goes through the sand filter and then comes back out and goes out the thing there, goes out the jet. So you vacuum to waste. Then I took another pool sample, took another water sample, and she said, you know, your pH is low, but your alkalinity is also low. So we're going to add a bunch of sodium bicarbonate, which is basically baking soda, just house grade baking soda. Arm & Hammer sells it in the pool aisle. She said that's also going to make your pH go up. So I had to put alkalinity increaser in, wait a day, put pH reducer in, just about 10 ounces to reduce the pH, get that back into where it needed to be. Then I took it back. She said, everything looks good. Now we need to do your calcium. Now, so far, the only thing I've done is sterilizing it. It's put in about 2 gallons of chlorine, liquid shot. So she said, now let's do your calcium. So I've had to put in 40 pounds of calcium, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. And calcium is in these like little chips, and you basically put it in over there and you let it dissolve, fall to the floor, and you brush it with your brush. You can do all this from outside the pool. Brush it with your brush. So I had to put in 3 bags the first day, 3 bags the second day, and I got to put in 2 bags tomorrow. And then Tuesday, I go back with the pool sample, and we will be good to go. At that point in time, that's when we'll start our easy pool regimen, where for this size of pool, it's a 28-foot pool. I don't know if it looks that big, but it's a 28-foot pool from here to here, about 18,000 gallons. And the easy pool is basically, it's got copper and some other stuff in it that helps kill algae, and it keeps the water clarifier clear. It has water clarifier in it and some other things to help keep the water balanced. You put 4 scoops in, approximately, a half a pound every week on the same day. And then I'll probably put in about midweek. She'll probably have me dump in. I usually do that on Monday, and about midweek, about Wednesday or Thursday, she'll have me dump in a gallon of liquid chlorine. And my stabilizer's good, so I don't use pucks, because a lot of times the pucks have stabilizer in it. And if you get too much stabilizer, the only way to get rid of stabilizer, other than having a pool professional come out and do some stuff, is to lower your water down and refill the water back in with fresh water that doesn't have stabilizer in it. So I typically, she only has me use pucks if my stabilizer gets low. Typically it doesn't, unless you get a bunch of rainwater and you have to put a bunch of water in to clean, and then you may have to put in fresh water. It may lower your stabilizer. You may have to put some in. The stabilizer is very difficult to get rid of. The easy way to get rid of it is to lower stuff. So said all that to say this. I've got my thermal cover on. Currently the water's about 84 degrees. It was 72 when I uncovered it. It's been starting to warm up here in western North Carolina. and it's actually hot today. It's a kind of a cloudy sky, but it is hot. And I've been having my cover on it, my thermal cover, to warm it up. Kind of acts like a blanket. It lets rays in. It lets UV rays in during the day and warms the water. I keep my pump circulating, so it helps to circulate the warm water throughout the pool. And then at night, it acts as a barrier to keep all that heat from evaporating off. And you want to have it really good up against your walls and stuff. I got some places over there you need to fix, and I need to fix over there. But you won't lose too much through that. And so what I did today was I put my steps back in. Now, my steps stay in year round, but I can't put my winter cover on it with it attached here and with these handrails. So what I do is I detach it, these screws here on each side. I take those out, fold those arms in, and I basically lay the steps forward. And the sandbags in them keep them sunk because they've got sandbags, big sandbags in the front of them. So that's what I did today. The water's swimmable. Even though I'm doing all this stuff to it, the water's swimmable. I was in it. If anybody came over, I could pull the cover off. I've got my PVC things back there to hold it on the back side. They're just kind of U's. If anybody has any questions about that, I can make a video about it. But if you look up, it's basically, they almost look like football field goals. One pole coming up, 2-inch pole coming up, and then split. You can't see the other end because the other ends are right up against the pole, but those are basically like U's back there, or Y's. And so I just pull the cover over there and put it back there whenever the pole's when the pole's being swam in. So this is basically it. I mean, I'm ready to go. Monday I'll purchase my easy pool stuff and purchase some more liquid chlorine. If she thinks I'm gonna need pucks, I'll probably purchase some of those. That'll probably get me through the year. Pools are expensive. I've got about $700 in startup. By the time I get done with the 2 buckets of easy pool, I'll have about $700-800 in startup. Or we're not in startup. I've got about $200-250 in startup right now, but I'll have about $500 to $600. So I'll be around $800-850 for the year, which is typical. And the power bill goes up a little bit because in the beginning, when I'm getting my pool right, I run my pool all the time. I run my pump all the time. Some people ask, there's a big debate on that. How often do you run your pool and your pump and how long? And all I have to say about that is there is no right answer because it's all about where you live and what the conditions are. Like, I have to run mine a little more because I don't know if you noticed, but I got a bunch of trees around me, and these things put off pollen and all kinds of things and insects. And so I run mine to keep my water circulated, especially when it's being swam in. But when I'm starting it up, I run my pump 24/7 because you got to keep stuff circulated while you're putting it in. Now, once I get started up, what I typically do is I will run my pump during the night. I'll run my pump from 8 p.m. or whenever the last person gets out done swimming. I'll run my pump 8 p.m. and then I'll turn it off. I don't have a timer. I need to get one of those, but I'll turn it off when I leave to go to work. And I'll let it just sit during the day. And at night, I will let it filter. Some people say, "Oh, don't run your filter at night. Run it during the day." Some people say, "Don't run during the day. Run it at night." It's all personal preference. You just want to run your filter enough you want to run your pump enough to filter your water. And I try to run mine to where it filters the water at least twice. I think mine's 2,500 gallons an hour or something like that. 18,000 gallons. So 12 hours should be getting it done. I don't know the exact math, but I don't have problems with algae in my water or the clarity of my water or my water being clear or cloudy. You can look down in there and you can see there and you can see over there against the wall that my water is clear. You can look right down in there. You can see that my water is clear. You can even see it's moving under there. It is circulating. It's not sitting still, it is moving. And so that alone, the fact that the water is moving water doesn't stagnate as much as water that's sitting still. So anyway, that's all for this. If you have any questions, I know that I've probably done things, like I said earlier in the video, I've probably done things that people wouldn't do. They wouldn't normally do it. If that's not the way you would do it your way. Do it the way that you think is right by you. But this is right by me, works for me, and this is how I do it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and hope you check out my other videos. I'm going to have a video coming up about, I purchased a pool robot, a Y-Bot C2, because usually the first 30 minutes of me getting in the pool is getting in there and cleaning and vacuuming and before anybody can get in. And I bought a programmable Y-Bot C2 to do some of the cleaning for me. I have a review coming up on that. I've actually unboxed it in my video that I'm working on, but I've not put it in here yet. So I'm not going to put it in here until we get done with the startup. And when it's actually needed, because right now, since I've recently vacuumed it, it's not needed. So once it's needed, which it'll be starting to be needed after swimming, because getting people dirt off their feet. I mean, we have a path, but you still get dirt. There'll be hair. And the skimmer catches a lot of that, but a lot of that does go to the bottom. And that's what the Y-Bot will pick up. So there'll be a video coming about that. All right. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.